Hello and welcome guys to the third part of our Make a Game with Unity tutorial series, and in this one I will show you how to improve the graphics and to add more details to our scene. To improve the graphics, we will add the post-processing stack asset you can download from the Unity asset store. I added the link to the description below. The next asset that I will add is this rocks pack. It's also free and called Rock and Boulders, and you can use it to add great looking rocks to your scene. And here's the next free asset from the asset store. It's called Realistic Sandbags, and I think enemies can hide behind these very well. And here's the last one called Pack PBR, also a great hiding place for attackers. Okay, that's it for the assets we're going to use, and here's a short tip to find free assets in the Unity asset store. Click on Price and drag the right slider to the left, and then you get an overview of all free assets. Alright, so let's continue here in Unity with the post-processing stack asset that I downloaded, and I clicked on Open in Unity to get this asset store window from which I can import the asset. Okay, that's it, I imported this, but before I will use this for my camera, I click on Edit, Project Settings, Player to add a first main improvement for the graphics of my game. I will turn the color space from gamma to linear. Then I select the directional light game object and increase the intensity just a little bit. Then let's maximize the game view. Yeah, really nice. In the next step I will use the post-processing stack to add more improvements to the graphics. So I open the scenes folder and create a so-called post-processing profile. Click Create, then Post-Processing Profile, and I will call this PPP. After that I add a component, a script to my main camera, and this will be a post-processing behavior. Then I drag this post-processing profile to the profile slot. When you select the post-processing profile now, you can enable image effects like anti-aliasing, ambient occlusion, bloom or color grading. When enabling the bloom, for example, you can add a nice glow to your scene, for which you can set the intensity and threshold. And the color grading I like to set to filmic and increase the temperature and post exposure, just like that. And as you see here in the result, with a few adjustments of these settings, you can give your scene a really professional look and feel. In the end, I enable the vignette and lower the intensity. Okay, this looks nice, and that's enough for the graphics. Now let's add some more assets to the scene. I switch to My Assets and click the download buttons for all the assets that we added. Once they're downloaded, the import buttons are enabled and I can click them to import the assets to my project. Alright, so let's start adding some rocks to the scene. So I select this rocks pack folder, and as you can see we have 19 subfolders with rocks, and I browse through them, and as soon as I found a rock that I like, I select it and drag it into my scene. Okay, this one for example looks good. I will drag it to the scene, and I think I will scale this up and find a position and rotation. And this stone with the lighter texture looks also great, so how about placing this in the water? Very nice, so let's go ahead and bring in some barrels. And these are actually quite small, so I have to scale it up. And then I will arrange 3 of them to a group. I used the rotation tool for the last barrel to create a kind of random arrangement. At the end I add the sandbags to the scene and arrange 3 pieces on top of each other. All these game objects that we add here will serve as hiding places for enemies and attackers in the game. Very good, but if we want to start the scene now, we get an error because we have image effects in the standard assets and in the post-processing stack asset. These are not compatible, but there's an easy fix. We simply have to remove the folder effects from the standard assets. Now we are able to start the game and we get a really nice result. But I will adjust the position of the camera just like this. Yes, and this is exactly the view and perspective that I was going for. Okay guys, that's it for the third part of this series. In the next one we will add the crosshair and we will start with programming a C# script to control and move this object. So if you like this channel and this tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe to not miss the next part. Thanks a lot for watching this and thanks for your support. See you soon on JNM.